Hey guys, Society Reviews here with my review of the film The Roundup Punishment. The last action star is not from the United States, but from the country of South Korea. The days when a single name can carry an action movie due to its appeal in the mainstream audience has been snuffed out due to the rise of superhero films. Fortunately, South Koreans love masculine storytelling and masculine movies, which is why Don Lee remains one of the top action stars in the country. Over the last few years, he's produced a franchise of movies called The Roundup. The original film entitled The Outlaws was released in 2017 until the focus reshift in 2022 with the film The Roundup. Last year, the follow-up film The Roundup No Way Out began shortly after the events of the last movie, which saw Don Lee's crew take down a trafficking and murder ring out of the country of Vietnam. After shutting the door on the Vietnam crime ring, the series shifts to the Philippines as a former Korean Special Forces officer who is the current head of an online gambling racket named Baek Chang kills a worker who attempts to escape from his fate working for the online gambling ring. His body is sent back to Korea, where Don Lee agrees to bring back the killers of this young man to justice. However, there's a power struggle that he's not aware of. The online casino admin, Chang Dun, promises Baek that he'll increase his rate if he shuts down a rival casino and takes over its members. Baek does what he's told, however, he is not happy with the fact that Chang refuses to fulfill his promise. Feeling inadequately compensated, Baek flies to Korea in order to confront Chang about his lack of funds. However, Chang has no plans of holding his end of the bargain, so Baek decides that he's going to deal with Chang himself and get his money. Don Lee has one shot to stop Chang and Baek before he has the opportunity to flee the country with his money and another body on his count. Similar to the Chinese film that was released last year entitled No More Bets, Punishment is a film that reveals the dangerous environment behind online gambling. Many offshore betting accounts that people think are on the up and up are set in Asian countries such as South Korea and the Philippines. At face value, you think they're a legit organization, when in reality the film exposes that many of the old workers behind the site are forced to work there by a larger criminal organization. Many of them are beaten or killed if they tried to flee. The style of the action of this film is very central to the South Korean culture. This isn't your typical John Wick movie where everyone has a gun and people's heads are getting blown off one by one. This film utilizes hand-to-hand combat and knife fights to keep its audience engaged with the action portion of the movie. The bread and butter of this series is of course Don Lee one-shotting a series of nameless faceless goons with his one-punch KO power. If you're a fan of the Roundup series, you're going to get more of the same that you're already experienced. The drawback of this film is due to the abundance of characters that are introduced in this movie, it pulls focus away from the overall story. The film is set up in an A, B, and C plot scenario. One part, you are catching up with our hero Don Lee and his police force, who generally have a toned down role in the story compared to other films. But on the flip side, you have a powerful investor who's leading the charge of this online organization looking to gain even more money. Then finally, you have a hardcore stone-faced killer who only cares about getting what is promised to him and shows no regard for human life throughout the film. Because you have three distinct personalities, the film tries to keep tabs with as much as possible, leaving the movie feeling a bit jarring, and ultimately the film does not feel as polished from a pacing standpoint as it should be. The runtime is less than 2 hours, however the film feels longer due to this inability to keep the story flowing smoothly. Don Lee still has major pull in the country of South Korea, which cannot be denied. However, you can't help but feel that this series, much like John Wick, has begun to wear out its welcome. If you're a first-time viewer of the Roundup series, there's certainly enough here to be thoroughly entertained if you're looking for a casual action movie escape film. The Roundup Punishment knows what puts butts in the seats and doesn't try to do anything more than that. If you like night fights, hand-to-hand combat, some over-the-top personalities, and some cold-blooded bad guys along the way, Roundup Punishment passes the test for a satisfying production. I give this film a 3 out of 5.
내가 약속을 했거든. 너 잡아준다고.